Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Leanna. If you're new, today I thought I would do an interview makeup look. I am super unemployed, largely because of COVID, and I've been to my fair share of interviews this year. Despite my unemployment, today I thought I would do an interview makeup look and also share some of my tips for preparing for interviews in the hopes that it may help you prepare for your dream job interview. Today I thought I would do a very neutral and simple look, bulletproof for interviews if you will. All the products are linked in the description box below in case you're interested. Now, I found that the thing about interviewing as a woman is that you really have to pay attention to your appearance and how you present yourself, because if you wear too much makeup, then that might make your interviewer prematurely come to some conclusions about your intelligence and your competence. And that is an unfortunate yet very real thing. Not saying that all interviewers are going to be like this, but the fact that some people are like this is enough cause for concern when it comes to getting ready for an interview. A lot of women say that they're treated vastly differently when they wear makeup and when they don't. Now, I didn't start wearing makeup until I was in college, so in high school I barely really wore any and didn't really know how to wear any. So, for the majority of high school, a lot of people assumed that I was nerdy and boring and didn't really like going out, which was only partially true. But in college, after I started wearing makeup, people would assume that I really liked to party and fuck a lot of guys and also drink a lot. And none of that was true, honestly. I look forward to a day where this is not a thing, but I do not think that I will get to see it in my lifetime, unfortunately. Of course, your outward appearance is very, very surface level, and it really all comes down to your interview skills and your competence for the job. All a bulletproof interview makeup look can do is, make a good, or at least not bad, first impression with your interviewer. Now, let me tell you, I don't really have a lot of interview skills at all, and it took me a very, very long time to learn what to do and what not to do, and how to prepare. And honestly, it was only this year that I really started feeling comfortable with doing interviews. I'm still very uncomfortable, but it was the first time I found myself actually knowing how to prepare. Usually I would just wing it. So, I've definitely never been that great at interviewing, but you know what I am sort of good at? Memorization. And one thing that I learned in my few months of frantic job searching this year was that interviewers tend to ask the same standard questions, especially if you're applying for one type of job. For example, I was applying to a lot of tutoring centers and tutoring jobs, and they always asked if I had experience with one-on-one tutoring or group tutoring, and that was a question that I came to constantly expect out of interviewing for tutoring/teaching jobs. And if you look it up online, it's all right there, just on Google. Think of it this way. Your interviewers at whatever job, they're not professional interviewers. That's not what they do. They do something else. They're just people who work at the company that you're applying to, trying to, scout for other people to work at that company. So when they're preparing for an interview, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go on Google and they're going to ask some standard questions to ask their interviewees. So when you look up standard interview questions or interview questions for tutoring job, those are the same questions that your interviewer is looking at and preparing to ask you. And what you can do once you look up those questions is practice your answers to those questions. It's like studying for a test. By doing this, I've become comfortable with even the most dreaded "tell me about yourself." Which, by the way, you should start answering with your professional background and then transition into things that you're passionate about. Yeah, nobody likes that question, but, I've become comfortable with it. And going into an interview prepared just really makes me feel so much better. And it's kind of funny how going on auditions as an actor is kind of similar, because when you go to a callback, they also ask you to tell them about yourself. And you gotta know what to say. You gotta have your lines memorized. I used to freak out before my interviews. I'd be rocking back and forth, just, my heart beating just out of my chest, hyperventilating, and sometimes it's still that way, but I feel like it's gotten a little better. I've gotten more used to it. But the thing is, now I see interviews as like going to an exam. And, I've taken exams all my life as a student, and what I know about exams is that if you study and prepare, you should be fine. One thing that I started doing just this year was that right before an interview, I'd go on YouTube and look up mock interview, and there are literally videos of people just asking questions and then waiting like 1 minute for you to answer while they're staring into your soul through the camera. And those have really helped me, because it's one thing to memorize on your own, but it's another thing looking into another human being's eyes and trying to talk to them as a person, which is what you're going to have to do in your real interview. So it's great practice. But alas, You cannot prepare for everything, and sometimes they might throw you a curveball question that you haven't prepared for. And in that case, guess you're screwed. No, I'm just kidding. In that case, you maintain your composure, and if you need it, just ask for a second to think about your answer, which, you know, your interviewer will be totally okay with. They really shouldn't expect you to answer their questions right away, because you're not a machine, you're a person. And you just answer the best you can. The moral of the story is that you can only prepare for your interview a certain amount. Life is unpredictable. Unfortunately, but also fortunately, I guess. There's always going to be a factor of life that is unpredictable, and you know, that might make you uncomfortable, but recently I have been trying to become more comfortable with being uncomfortable. Not all interviews will go well, at least in my experience that is the case. And you know, in the case that they don't be too hard on yourself. You can only really do so much, and there will be countless other opportunities. Now, casting directors, they are professional interviewers. The thing about going on so many auditions is that I have to forget about all of them after I audition, because more often than not, I won't get the role. And this way, if they never reach out, then that's fine because I've forgotten about it. And if they do, then great. And it's kind of like coming out of an exam not really knowing if I did well or not. With interviewing, there's going to be a lot of rejection, but don't let it get to you. Just pat yourself on the back for putting in the effort to prepare, making it out alive, and doing your best. And that is pretty much how I prepare myself for interviews. I also remember to stay hydrated and make sure that I eat something. I just make sure to take care of my physical health that day and just make sure that I'm going into the interview feeling good. This is the completed makeup look. A little bit of a bold winged liner, but you know, it really keeps the focus on the eyes, and I didn't do anything on the lower lash line so that the eyes are open. And with a natural nude lip color and some natural blush, and all you need is to put on a blazer and you're ready to go. May you and I both find happiness and success in our career paths. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!